afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this session 1, Strengthen Mediterranean forest ecosystems and their potential to evolve. We will spend the next couple of even more hours together. And I just summarized there will be 3 round tables. The first one, remarkable Mediterranean forest ecosystems, but under pressure. The next, what lessons can be learned from past success and failures? And the last one is the key to success for the strengthening of Mediterranean forest ecosystems. I have a double role in this roundtable, one as a moderator and a speaker. So for introducing me, I give the floor to Chariton. Okay, sorry. for introduce myself. Thank you.
So good afternoon from myself as well. The first talk is from Dr. Giovanbattista De Dato, who is has a master's degree in forest environmental sciences from University of Bari and a PhD in forest ecology from the Tuscia University. His research is basically on climate change effects on Mediterranean ecosystems. He has worked for the CREA Research Center in Arezzo, Italy, as a researcher and in the Laboratory of Forest Genetic Resources. His main activities focus on the sustainable management of forests and forest plantations, particularly with a focus on forest genetic resources, biodiversity management and conservation, including monitoring and developing actions in situ and ex situ for conservation and adaptive management. At the moment, he's a loan expert to FAO and coordinates the activities that support the FAO Committee on Mediterranean Forestry Questions, the Silo Mediterranea.
Good afternoon again. So the title of the presentation is the distribution of Mediterranean forest and tree resources. In particular, I will show you, we will focus on the outcomes of the last state of Mediterranean forest that was published in 2018, and mostly on 2 variables, the forest area and the growing stock. And the data reported in the state of Mediterranean forest are basically based on the study and outcomes of the forest resource assessment team of FAO that regularly FAO has regularly produced statistics on the world forest, so including also the Mediterranean forest, and back to the for this, and it is by starting by 1990 that this forest resource assessment is published every 5 years. For the state of Mediterranean forest, clearly the Silo Mediterranea that has in charge of the publication of the state of Mediterranean forest focused on the countries around the Mediterranean basin and extracted the variables for these countries. Okay, here just quickly the definition of forest according to FAO, other woodland and other land with recover in terms of surface and plant height. So what are the main results that we can see looking to the Mediterranean countries? So basically, starting from 1990, and actually this picture was maybe already shown by Ricardo, if I'm not mistaken, this morning, but there has been an increase in the forest area in this during this period. and this increase was totally due to the natural regeneration at a rate that is about 0.7% per year, and with a smaller contribution from reforestation, while the rate of deforestation was quite low in the for the region. So clearly this is the whole picture. The dynamic varies according to the countries, and especially in the north and in the south of the basin, due to the different economic systems and the dynamic of population in the different regions of in the different countries of the region. So and I want to enter into this the detail by country, because actually analyzing tables on is almost useless in front of a screen. In terms of growing stock, so the amount of volume of forest, the picture reported here is also of an increase starting from the 1990. But this this change has seen an abrupt or decrease in terms of percentage per year in the last reporting period. Anyway, we have to say that most countries do not share this data in terms of growing stock, and also this is only related to the forest, while we know that the other woodland, or especially in the Mediterranean area, can heavily contribute to in terms of volume. And then also carbon accumulation. Anyway, it is important to stress the point that this is data extracted at the country level. So it means that in those numbers that we've seen so far, also regions that are not Mediterranean in terms of bioclimate, so and clearly also we are considering other types of ecosystem, more continental or not typical of the area. So in 2005, the FRA team of FAO also had applied a different approach based on a remote survey focused on the bioclimatic definition of Mediterranean forest for FAO, that are subtropical steppe, subtropical mountain system, and subtropical dry forest. And in this area, there were about 30,000 points that were analyzed to estimate the amount of forest cover. And so the outcome is a bit different from what is reported at the country level, because the total amount is a bit lower. I forgot to mention before that according at the country level, so the total amount is 88 million hectares of Mediterranean forest, but according to based on this approach, it is about 80 million hectares with an error of estimates of 10 million hectares. Yeah, I'm almost over. Thank you. So this approach, so this these data are quite not updated, and we are currently work on this. In a few weeks, there will be a workshop in Barcelona hosted by EFIMED. They will be dedicated to update the analysis of the plots, increase the number of plots, and so update this map based on the most recent statistics. So the final points to conclude my my speech is that in the region, and this is something that was already mentioned in this morning, we still need a coordinated approach. So to think of the region as a whole area with a common approach to the collection for this specific focus topic for collection of data and sharing of data. It is important to have a common definition of Mediterranean forest. Clearly, knowing what is our population of investigation is the primary point to be agreed upon. And in this sense, the Silva Mediterranea and FAO works into this direction, facilitating the dialogue and also creating occasion for capacity building and to empowering experts and increase the cooperation at the countries, within countries, and for improve the connection among the experts and also with the research ministries and agencies. So this was my last point, and thank you for your attention. And we can now move on with the following presentation. Sorry, I haven't opened your bios. Give me just some seconds. Non si apre. Just a moment, sorry. So next presentation is by Magda Bou Dagher Kharrat from EFIMED, the Mediterranean facility of EFIMED. She is a plant genetist who has been involved in the field of biodiversity conservation and ecosystem restoration for more than a decade. She's a National Geographic Explorer since 2019. She was awarded the UNESCO L'Oréal for Women in Science in 2008, received the Knight's title in the Order of the Academic Palms from the French Republic in 2021, and was elected as a corresponding member of the Academy of Agriculture France in 2023. With a PhD degree from La Sorbonne University Paris and an accreditation to supervise research from Paris Sakali University, Magda is a professor at St. Joseph University of Beirut. She was the chair of the Department of Life and Earth Science and directed the Laboratory of Biodiversity and Functional Genomics at the Faculty of Science, and has a wide network of international collaborators. Is it too long? I can stop here, maybe. Okay, please. So let's go to maybe.
It's eating on my time to speak.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe this is we leave this to the. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So please, Magda.
Thank you. So in order to prepare my presentation, I didn't put. I promised to speak in French. Donc pour préparer ma présentation, je n'ai pas repris les chiffres parce que je m'attendais à ce que, comme Giovanbattista a présenté maintenant, mais également deux autres présentations ont repris les chiffres pour dire pourquoi la Méditerranée est un grand potentiel pour la biodiversité. Donc j'ai adopté une autre approche qui va nous montrer que la Méditerranée a un grand potentiel d'adaptation. Si je vous dis des pingouins, ça vous fait penser à quel habitat? Pensez à quel type d'habitat autour de ces pingouins-là? Dans quelle région du monde? Eh bien, il y avait des pingouins à Marseille. Oui, il y a longtemps, il y a 22 000 ans, Et la preuve, c'est que c'est bien dessiné par des humains, mais c'était dans une grotte sous-marine, donc c'est dans la grotte Xe. Et donc, pour entrer dans cette grotte-là, il faut faire une plongée de 37 mètres sous le niveau actuel de l'eau. Et donc, comment ces pingouins ont-ils été représentés à l'intérieur de cette cave? Ça montre deux choses. Tout simplement, c'est que l'entrée de la caverne, en fait, de la grotte, elle était à l'air libre, donc le niveau de l'eau était beaucoup plus bas. Et deuxièmement, qu'il y avait des pingouins dans la région pour que les gens les représentent. Et donc, effectivement, l'environnement autour de cette grotte Xe ressemblait à ça. Donc, c'était en se basant sur des données polyniques de la région, on voyait que le climat était sec et était très froid, et le niveau de l'eau était beaucoup plus bas. Donc, c'était pendant le dernier âge glaciaire, donc il y a 22 000 ans, et c'était la période où on parlait de l'état zéro de la végétation en Europe, parce que, donc d'après Ponce, c'était là la période où il y avait le moins de choses qui ont résisté à cette glaciation. Et en fait, si on parle tout le temps de ces cycles climatiques, donc réchauffement, période glaciaire, période interglaciaire, la dernière période interglaciaire, donc avant ce cycle glaciaire-là, figurez-vous que les températures étaient 2 fois plus élevées qu'aujourd'hui. Donc aujourd'hui, on dit qu'il faut absolument rester 1,5 degré. Donc déjà, à l'époque, il y avait 2 degrés de plus. Et donc, vous voyez, la végétation en Europe se portait très bien. C'était beaucoup plus vert. La végétation en feuillus montait beaucoup plus vers le nord. Sauf qu'à cette époque-là, donc, il n'y avait pas encore Homo sapiens comme on le connaît aujourd'hui, civilisé, entre guillemets. Et c'était l'époque où on voyait des hippopotames et des éléphants forestiers un peu partout en Europe. On les voyait, et surtout en région méditerranéenne aussi. Donc, c'était la belle époque pour eux. Puis, il y avait donc l'époque glaciaire qui est venue, qui a modifié un peu tout ça. Sur cette diapositive, on voit donc du côté du continent américain où on avait la même chose, donc il y avait des glaciations. Sauf que donc, dans ces conditions-là, quand il y a un cycle glaciaire, les espèces migrent vers le sud. En interglaciaire, comme aujourd'hui, les espèces migrent vers le nord. Donc, il y a ce va-et-vient. Et si on regarde du côté de l'Europe, on voit qu'il y a la Méditerranée au milieu. Donc, cette Méditerranée serait quelque part un obstacle pour cette migration. Et donc, c'est pour cela qu'en termes de biodiversité en général, on a moins d'espèces de ce côté-là que du côté… donc, il y a des épisodes en fait d'extinction étaient moins importants du côté américain. Sauf que ce n'était pas toujours le cas. Il fut une époque où la Méditerranée n'était pas comme elle est aujourd'hui. Elle n'était pas un obstacle pour la migration des espèces dans les deux sens. Et là, je parle beaucoup plus loin. Je vais vers 6 millions d'années en arrière, au moment où, grâce à des événements tectoniques, le passage de Gibraltar était fermé. Et donc, pendant 2000 ans, la Méditerranée perdait de l'eau plus que les ruisseaux et la pluie ne lui ramènent. Donc, pendant 2000 ans, elle s'est asséchée petit à petit. Et donc, il y avait ce mouvement également des espèces vers le nord et vers le sud. Et donc, quand elle s'est remplie comme une baignoire pendant moins de 250 ans, alors ça c'est discutable aussi selon les articles, mais on sait que ce remplissage était très très rapide, donc dramatique pour les espèces qui y vivaient, et ça a dû coincer quelques espèces sur des îles qui, en s'adaptant, et donc elles ont été sélectionnées, on garde le nanisme, on parle de dwarfism, ou le nanisme dans certaines îles méditerranéennes, dont la Crète, avec ce mammouth endémique de la Crète. Donc, on voyait dans cette Méditerranée-là, comme je viens de le dire, quelque chose se passait au moment de la migration des espèces. Et ce que vous voyez là, ce sont les montagnes. Et donc, si on compare également à nouveau avec le continent américain, où les chaînes de montagnes sont plutôt nord-sud, là, on voit qu'il y a plein de chaînes de montagnes qui sont orientées est-ouest, dans l'autre sens. Donc, du coup, on a quelque part un obstacle pour ces migrations-là. Mais il ne faut pas oublier qu'on peut avoir cette migration en altitude au niveau des montagnes. Sauf que si je vous montre ça, c'est pour vous dire que c'est un point quand même positif, parce que c'est là où on a ce qu'on appelle les refuges glaciaires. Et donc cette hétérogénéité, puisque ce n'est pas plat, toutes ces montagnes qui sont interceptées par des vallées étaient des zones où les espèces pouvaient se réfugier. Ça créait des micro-habitats et des microclimats où on a des poches, mais quel que soit que ce soit un réchauffement ou un refroidissement, c'était des refuges. Et donc, ces montagnes-là ont joué un rôle très important. Et on voit très bien qu'il y a une colocalisation de l'endémisme et de ces zones refuges. Et donc, on a plein de publications dans ce sens-là qui montrent comment l'hétérogénéité du milieu, elle peut créer des poches de subsistance, des refuges, pas seulement pour les plantes et les animaux, mais également pour les humains, comme c'est le cas ici pour l'homo néandertal en Espagne. Et donc, il y a plein de végétation. Et à partir de ces zones refuges, on a après une recolonisation. Et ça, c'est un des milliers, des centaines d'exemples qu'on trouve dans la bibliographie avec les chênes, par exemple. Vous voyez que moins 12 000 ans jusqu'à 2000 ans, comment ça monte vers le nord. À partir, bien sûr, de refuges primaires, mais également d'autres refuges secondaires qui étaient plus hauts en Europe. Donc, c'était les deux contributions de la géologie et du climat à la biodiversité méditerranéenne qui vous montrent qu'ils ont influencé cette biodiversité-là, mais il ne faut pas sous-estimer également l'effet humain. Et donc, celui-là, il remonte à pas très, très longtemps à l'échelle géologique, donc à la période du néolithique, quand on a eu domestication des animaux et des végétaux dans le croissant fertile. Et donc, à partir de là, ça a dû bouger. Et on voit que ça a bougé avec l'homme du néolithique, en fait, qui s'est propagé cette vague de domestication et d'agriculture qui a bougé vers l'Europe dans plusieurs sens. On a ici l'exemple de l'auroch. On trouve en fait ça en Algérie, dans le Tassili, où on voit qu'à l'époque où l'Afrique était humide, on avait quand même pas mal d'élevage important. Et donc, ça a changé, c'est pas très, très longtemps, 14 000 ans à l'échelle dont je parlais. Donc, notre Méditerranée, la flore de la Méditerranée est passée par tout ce que je viens de vous décrire. Et en ajoutant comment aussi les humains ont propagé certaines plantes, ont changé la distribution de certaines espèces, qu'elles soient animales ou végétales. Et donc, rajoutons, on en a parlé tout à l'heure, de tout ce know-how, c'est comment chacune de ces populations-là, de ces civilisations-là, elle a utilisé la biodiversité et elle l'a propagée. On a parlé de Mago tout à l'heure également pour l'agriculture. Donc, tout ça, tout ce que je viens de nommer, a laissé sa trace sur la biodiversité méditerranéenne pour qu'on arrive aujourd'hui à cet équilibre, cette mosaïque méditerranéenne entre la forêt, le pâturage et l'agriculture. Et c'est ça ce qu'on a de plus précieux comme héritage naturel et culturel qu'il faut absolument sauvegarder. Voilà, je m'arrête là. Donc, mon message, donc je l'ai écrit ici, mais je vais le représenter sous cette forme-là, c'est plus agréable à lire, que notre potentiel le plus important en Méditerranée, c'est un hotspot, c'est un point chaud pour la diversité génétique, la diversité des espèces et la diversité des écosystèmes qu'il faudra sauvegarder pour qu'on puisse encourager ce potentiel que la biodiversité méditerranéenne a de si important pour l'Europe et pour le monde. Voilà, je m'arrête là.
Thank you, Magda, for respecting the time, but at the same time to giving us a really nice presentation. And so now I can open the table for to the discussion. And so I will give priority to the floor. There can be also a question from the Zoom, or in case. Nope. Okay. Any question, please? The microphone there, over there.
Eduardo Rojas, I wanted to just do a small exchange with Magda. It was very interesting, your presentation, especially linking biodiversity, also the dynamics of temperature over the last thousands or even millions of years, migration paths that explain the anomaly that Europe has the less species in the area with the best weather conditions, especially the western facade of Europe that should be as rich as the North American, but it's very, very poor, especially the British Isles, especially Ireland or Northwest Iberic Peninsula. And that contradiction, where most likely even in some areas having broadleaves as the so-called climax species is an error of nature. There should be evergreens due to the present climate and not the previous one. But my comment was basically domestication is important, but there has been a very important due to the length of impact on the landscape that doesn't need to be negative. Is the hidden one that is done by the humans in less developed stadiums. And basically the only way we can reconstruct it is basically thanks to the fact that North America and Australia were in that Neolithic, pre-Neolithic stadium. And they didn't arrive to settle, to do agriculture, to domesticate animals. They had also much less animal species due to the isolation of Australia. Eventually, the kangaroos are not suitable animals for domestication. But through the use of fire, that at the end is very important for forest, created totally different landscapes than the natural one. And I think this is a lesson for today. Management of forests with the risk of fires, extraordinarily interesting, this cultural use of fire, even from the cultural perspective, to rehabilitate this native population that were not very proper treated by the North American and the British Empire. In the case of Australia, even today, there are still issues. So there's an important cultural legacy behind as well, but very especially because they could construct extraordinarily resilient landscape that without humans, in the hypothetical case of the pre-human situation, would be extraordinarily prone for fires. And since the Western took these recurrent soft fires and smart fires, the problems have only grown, and now many people bring climate change as the cause, and climate change is just having more numbers of the lottery. But the key cause for this challenge is most likely even the fires that Canadians had this summer is basically the abandonment of this system of smart fires of very primitive humans. But they did a task that we very evolved humans have not been able to take. There is interesting evolution, especially in the case of North Australia, where now they even included into the climate mechanism to pay the indigenous community to recover the fires, because they have at the end made the balance, and this smartly burn at the end emit much less CO2 than the abandoned one. So I think I'm not sure if that management might be even more important by many reasons, that the domestication and so on, that at the end we know a lot of this, but the solutions for many challenges might be in this historical use of fire very wisely, because we have a disruption. There has been something in between, and this in certain ways is distracting us for a way to ensure very resilient forests that we cannot do with other means.
Yes, I had a slide between both where I showed that in order to have grazing for their animals, they were burning, and this managed burning, or we call it today subscribed burning, was giving or doing the difference. And I can add two examples today. Like there is a study done in Barcelona surroundings where they were just comparing biodiversity and endemic species between 50 years ago and today. And because of land abandonment, Montserrat, that is really today one of the very nice green area, lost many of its endemic species because of this wild rewilding, where we lost this open space for many endemic species that are light demanding. And in the case also in Italy, in many places, because there are this biodiversity typical to the Mediterranean is used to have open space. And by covering everything with forest, we are losing this specificity. So it's management that we should be working on. The potential is here, but we should taking care of the management, how to manage the best our forests, to keep the connectivity between these forests to have their full potential for adaptation exploited.
Based on this, the need for management, but at least based on my experience, but actually the question is to everyone. because also this morning we insisted on this point, on the need of management, but honestly what I see, what I perceive from most of the media is that we have to, yes, and this also so just to leave the things go naturally. So maybe from our side as forester, or there is a problem of communicating or communication these needs. And actually I wonder, what can be the way to better send this manage that management is not, because usually it is associated to let's say to the extreme of the deforestation, but actually we have seen also from the statistics that the rate of deforestation is really low in the region. So it is really hard to understand why this need for management is just seen as the evil. And so that's why I think that there is really we really need to cooperate to clarify this message and to maybe less cryptic. I don't know.
It's diversity of forest we have needs a diversity of management. It's not like one size fits all. So we have to adapt in each case for each species, for each type of forest, what type of management, integrating also the needs of the society, what they are asking for, and what can be still giving some economic advantage to them so they can live with the forest and not outside the forest or without the forest.
Thank you. Any other comment or question? Yes.
J'ai trouvé ces deux exposés extrêmement intéressants. Le second très original dans sa présentation, effectivement, ça donnait un peu le vertige. Il fallait se déplacer à toute allure d'un côté à l'autre. Mais sur le premier exposé, donc l'orateur qui est maintenant président, redevenu président, a présenté deux séries de chiffres. Les premiers qui montraient plutôt une certaine d'abord qu'il y avait une définition précise de la FAO pour la forêt méditerranéenne. La première série de chiffres montrait plutôt une certaine croissance, alors que la deuxième série de chiffres donnait plutôt une certaine stabilité. Enfin, ça donnait cette impression. Donc, est-ce que finalement, on doit plutôt penser qu'il y a croissance ou stabilité? Et deuxièmement, est-ce que, au fond, cette forêt méditerranéenne a une véritable homogénéité d'essence? Et a-t-on également une idée, au fond, de sa santé, enfin, de son... enfin, je veux dire, il peut y avoir une approche un peu plus précise. Et puis, vous avez dit que vous faisiez des travaux, donc, justement, pour préciser un peu ces chiffres et permettre, au fond, de les suivre dans le temps pour voir s'il y avait vraiment croissance ou décroissance. C'est bien ce que j'ai compris?
No, your comment is correct. Yes, the two pictures, because the first series is based on the data reported by the countries. So, for example, for France, in those data are also included forests from the higher latitudes. So clearly, the picture, the outcomes that come up from the different approach are different, because the second one is focused only on the ecological bioclimatic region of defined as Mediterranean according to FAO. So yeah, that's why also the point that I wanted to stress at the end was that we need a common approach and also a unique approach, because otherwise the time series is no longer so trustable, I'd say. And yeah, and for the second series, as you said, we are currently working on to update this this picture. And yeah, you're right. Yes, but yeah, I'd say that the second The second picture is more focused and can be maybe more true for the Mediterranean area, so that do not consider the borders, which is maybe the approach that we need to follow when we need statistics for the Mediterranean forest. But maybe the weak side of the other approach is that, okay, we can have the estimates of the cover, but nothing concerning the growing the volumes, the carbon stock, or the standing biomass. So because the approach is does not allow to get this kind of information. It is not properly my topic, but yeah, this is the main weak side of the second approach. But anyway, at least in terms of forest area, it should be more consistent. There is another question there. Oh, yes, maybe, yes, sorry. I was taking note.
Merci aux deux intervenants. Je voudrais revenir sur un point important de l'intervention de M. De Dato, de la FAO. Il y a une chose que tous les observateurs doivent accepter, c'est que en répétant ces inventaires régionaux et mondiaux, la FAO peut arriver à une bonne estimation de la déforestation. C'est-à-dire là où il y avait une forêt, suivant la définition adoptée, 5 ans ou 10 ans après, il n'y a plus de forêt suivant la même définition adoptée. Le problème, c'est que lorsque l'on parle de dégradation, ce concept de dégradation, malheureusement, qui est un petit peu lié à la personne qui parle de dégradation. Un spécialiste de la floristique ou de la faunistique parlera de dégradation si des mesures montrent qu'un certain nombre d'espèces végétales ou animales ont disparu. Mais un spécialiste des produits forestiers non ligneux ne dira pas qu'il y a dégradation s'il garde la même productivité en produits forestiers non ligneux. Même chose pour le bois. Donc la dégradation, ce que je voulais dire, c'est que la dégradation est un concept quand même assez subjectif. Malheureusement, la dégradation est associée à la déforestation, c'est-à-dire que beaucoup d'instruments juridiques internationaux parlent de déforestation et dégradation. Autant la déforestation est relativement simple à démontrer, autant la dégradation, par son côté subjectif, par le côté du critère sur lequel on se base pour la dégradation, autant ce critère, autant ce concept de dégradation est non seulement est très difficile à estimer, mais encore faut-il bien s'entendre sur ce qu'on identifie par dégradation. Et malheureusement, ceci a pollué le débat public et le débat international. Les gens soit mélangent déforestation et dégradation ou parlent de dégradation quand d'autres ne parlent pas de dégradation. Donc, je veux appeler l'attention sur le fait que la dégradation est quelque chose de très difficile à estimer et qu'elle dépend beaucoup de celui qui parle de dégradation.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd say also maybe the scale, the scale is different. So because degradation can even be observed at a small level, small scale compared to deforestation. Thank you, Riccardo.
Thank you, Giovanbattista. Thanks a lot for your presentation. I have a question indeed related to that, because I completely agree that we need that somebody has to take the leadership, like FAO, for example, to harmonize the definitions, harmonize the data about Mediterranean forests. Okay, we have to find a solution, because otherwise we always present data that can be interpreted in different ways. And also, for example, the last question about forest degradation, that's okay. For example, we have a workable definition in IPCC, that is when you have a persistent understock forest. Okay, that's a degradation. Persistent in time understocking. Okay, what do you mean in time? But okay, that's something. But there are some ways to deal with this type of definition, as well as, for example, in Mediterranean countries, we have different definition of forest, even different definition of forests. And so the height of the forest, the coverage of the area, so different according to FAO definition, according to country level specific definition. So it's a little bit of a mess. So if somebody take a leadership, even there could be a recommendation from this workshop here to stress this question. And in reality, yeah, I was discussing with some colleagues today that could be also another important outcome if you could. I think it's important with the next assessment report of IPCC, the 7th report, because there will be a plenary on discussing the contents and eventually special reports in the future for the IPCC work. Since we are here, government delegates or somebody that have relevant connections with the government bodies, the Ministry of Environment and the IPCC focal point, I think to stress the idea to have a special report on forest for IPCC, because we are lacking that. The last one was in 2003, where the concept of land use, LULUCF, land use change, land use of forestry, was first time pop up, but 2003 is a prehistoric age, just to come back to our presentation on geology. So that's really important to, if I may suggest that the people can do it, the people that can do it to support the idea of a special report on forestry, on both adaptation and mitigation, okay? Not just the mitigation part, but including both of the things. And I have one curiosity to you, Giovanbattista. You show that there is, if I understood well, growing stock, and after you have this decrement of the percentage increments, something like that, of the stock.
Yeah, per year.
So, okay, this is normal, of course, because you grow in growing stock, you reduce the increment percentage increment. But did you try to see when the carbon stocks will saturate, which time of the next future the growing stock will saturate? But it looks a little bit, since they are decreasing the percentage, they're probably asymptotic as in saturation. So do you have an idea when this saturation of Mediterranean forest will occur?
Well, actually, we are working on this data, and so at the moment I cannot reply to you. I hope in the next future. For the next state of Mediterranean forest, that should be published in almost 1 year, by the end of 2024. So I hope that I can give you this answer. And the last one, and then we move to the next table.
Thank you, Nabil Assaf, FAO, Jordan. Thanks for the presentation of the state of the Mediterranean forest. We all know that the southern part of the Mediterranean, the forest is not increasing, and even the growing stock is not increasing. So maybe the growing in the northern part is kindly make a kind of imbalance in this in these figures. It's very important where we don't have, let's say, accurate data from countries, to pay a special attention to these countries where we can have a better and accurate data to know what's happening, the dynamic of the forestry in those countries. So it is really a serious issue. The second point is that about the forest classification. What we are witnessing in some countries is that we are losing the forest cover, but the vegetal cover is being replaced by olive trees. Olive trees that are being used in many countries. These olive, let's say orchids or whatever, they have somehow some services or ecosystem services that they are providing. And I think it's now time to debate about the importance of this vegetal cover that is being put in place under the Mediterranean zone. I'm not talking about olive that is being planted outside Mediterranean zone where we need to irrigate all the time in order to produce. So maybe this reflection needs to be done in the coming, let's say, Silvamed meeting and other wooded lands. And it has been an FAO at certain moment talking about other wooded lands and the minimum area to be classified as forest. So when there have been some changes, the forest cover in all over the globe and the state of forest cover, it has increased tremendously, which is not a reality, which means we do not have really sustainable forest in some small areas that they are not doing, they are not preserving the biodiversity. And this is also another point to be considered. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Magda, okay, last comment. And then
Yeah, just to say that also about the indicators about the status of the forest, about degradation. It's also a very big hot topic now in Europe, working for the nature restoration law, because they have to restore and put money for forests that are degraded or need to be restored. And this is how the definition about what is the status of degradation is really very, very hot inside natural domain places and outside. So there is many people working on this set of indicators to qualify what is a good status of ecosystem and what when we talk about different kind of degradation. So just to say that it's not only a Mediterranean problem, but and also the Spanish government is very keen now to push in this direction. So I mean, Mediterranean is represented, and I hope very soon we can have a clear idea about these indicators, about degradation and then for restoration.
Thank you.